Kamala Harris becomes the first presidential candidate since Walter Mondale in 1984 to not attend the Al Smith dinner. Where's the beef, Kamala? She is set to deliver a pre-recorded message, but is she trying to dodge getting roasted by the Donald? Well, back in 2016, Hillary Clinton wasn't afraid of a little roast session herself. Take a listen.
With all of the heated back and forth between my opponent and me at the debate last night, we have proven that we can actually be civil to each other. In fact, just before taking the dais, Hillary accidentally bumped into me, and she very civilly said, "Pardon me."
Yep, that's how it's supposed to go, folks, but not with Kamala, because like a lump of coal underneath the tree on Christmas, Democrats found themselves trapped in the lyrics of that old Cilla Black song because, surprise, surprise, turns out it wasn't a storm or a strike or a war that was going to sink the Democrats on Election Day in November. Turns out the October surprise they feared ended up being their very own hand-picked candidate for president, Kamikaze Kamala herself. You see, after months of teleprompters and scripted interviews while being propped up by the left-stream media, the real Kamala Harris finally popped up like a terrifying jack-in-the-box on a time delay. She went on 60 Minutes and appeared not to understand the difference between a tax credit and a tax deduction. She went on The View and said she could not think of a single thing she would have done differently in the last 3 years than Joe Biden. And then went on and did a break glass in case of emergency interview with Charlemagne the false god in an effort to court the black vote, and told him that she would not be a continuation of the Biden presidency, as if both statements could somehow be true. And so after months of soaring high in the sky on pre-scripted tough talk written for her by an army of ghostwriters, amplified on her behalf by an army of influencers, paid big bucks to say really nice things about her, well, the legend of Kamala Harris finally got a little too close to the sun. And just like the story of Icarus in Greek mythology, those wings, they started to melt. And now she's dropping like a rock for the whole world to see. And so it is only right that the day after Kamala Harris tried to tell Bret Baier that the Democrats are a freedom-loving people, that all roads lead to the famed Al Smith dinner, the world-famous white tie affair held by the Catholic Archdiocese of New York, an annual gathering where faith and politics collide, the intersection of church and state. And so, of course, we should not be surprised that after losing track of her accents from one state to the next, the nominee for the Democratic Party that loves to say they are taking back freedom and faith from the Republicans, well, they decided it wasn't even safe for her to enter a room filled with people who believe in God, lest she be forced to acknowledge that her policies barely respect religion or freedom, let alone freedom and religion combined. See, Kamala Harris isn't just the anti-freedom candidate. On multiple occasions, she has literally attempted to torpedo freedom of religion's very existence. This is a woman who, as Attorney General in California, signed an amicus brief in 2014 in support of trying to force the Hobby Lobby to buy contraception for their employees, violating their religious freedoms. This is a woman who, as Attorney General, sponsored the Reproductive Fact Act, a harmlessly worded bill that did a great deal of harm for those pro-life Californians running pregnancy centers to advise within the walls of their centers that free abortions were just around the corner. This is a woman who, as a United States Senator, was the sponsor of the Do No Harm Act, Put it another way, folks, Kamala Harris literally wrote the bill to try and kill the Religious Freedom Restoration Act of 1993. And so at this moment, there are only a few things protecting people who believe in religious freedom from Kamala Harris: Donald J. Trump and the Supreme Court. The same Supreme Court, by the way, that Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and Chuck Schumer want to decimate by simply packing it to the high hilt. And so we'll hear from President Trump at the Al Smith dinner talking about freedom, talking about faith, talking about freedom of religion. And we're going to get a video from Kamala telling jokes on tape to a room full of people she fully expects to vote for her, even though she literally hates everything that they represent. A belief in a higher power than her very own unhinged Democratic Party.